Hey guys, welcome back to another one. This is Crypto Elite. In today's video, we are going to be talking about FTX. We're going to be talking about how the crypto market cap just shed a bunch of money. And then lastly, we are going to talk about the SEC. They are going after everyone. They are not holding back. And I think they are thinking that now it's the bear market. So now is the time to go after everyone when there's not a huge hype and backing behind all these crypto securities, according to them at least. So we'll talk about those three things. But before that, let's check out the overall portfolio. And as you know, if you do tune into the channel, my portfolio is 100% open, and this is something that 99.99% of other crypto YouTubers do not do. And as you can see here, there has been a huge fall in the overall price of the portfolio because the majority of it has to do with Bitcoin. And that's something that will lead into the first story here in a second. But my goal is to average into 1 BTC. And right now I'm at about 0.53. So I'm getting very, very close to continuing to move on to that full Bitcoin. So even though the price is falling, I kind of am happy because that means that I can average in a little bit quicker. I also have 3 Ethereum, USDC. I have a bunch. I'm still holding on to about $1,200 of USDC, just waiting to see what the market's going to do. But I do have some ideas of where I do want to deploy that in the future. Cardano, my biggest loss so far, minus 70%. Still holding on to that for the next bull cycle, and then we will see what we do with it from there. And then lastly, the Near protocol, my most recent purchase, only down about 6%, even though there has been a massive sell-off in the market. So that is looking good. But that massive sell-off, as you can see, here is the 24-hour at the time of this recording, 1-day Bitcoin chart. It was up a lot higher and it just shed off a bunch of money. We've been hovering right around that $25,000 mark, and now we're at $22,000. So even though it's not that huge by comparison to when FTX scandal happened or Three Arrows Capital or any of those, it's still a pretty significant drop. For recently, things have been trending pretty much sideways. So it was the biggest drop that we've seen recently. And this has to do with Silvergate. As the crisis deepens, there's more and more information that's starting to come out, and it's leading to crypto sell-off. And now we're right about $1 trillion market cap again. And this is all because of that uncertainty. And there was a 10K or SEC filing that came out from Silvergate. And basically they stated that a number of circumstances have occurred which will negatively impact the timing and unaudited results previously reported in the earnings release. So basically they're thinking things are going to be a lot worse than they initially thought. And with that earnings or that SEC filing, the stock price dropped 50%. And there's a lot of rumors that there's a lot of exposure to FTX, which could have caused that. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. The next thing has to do once again with FTX, because more news came out about FTX, and that there is a $8.9 billion customer funds hole that is just missing from the FTX and Alameda research, which is just insane that that much money is missing somehow. Or another word to say besides missing, it transferred hands. And FTX only had $694 million in liquid assets, and somehow it has that almost $9 billion debt. And Alameda Research borrowed about $9 billion from the customer, so that is where the money came from. And the bankruptcy lawyer, they're just going through all the sheets right now, and they're trying to put together as much information as they can. They came up with this chart as well as this secondary chart over here, but all of this is basically saying in a nutshell that a lot of fraudulent activity did happen, a lot of borrowing that should not have happened between sister companies happened, and there is a huge, as you can see, almost $9 billion deficit. So that's the second thing I wanted to talk about. And the last story has to do with the SEC and Binance US, actually. So like I said at the very beginning, the SEC, they are not holding back. They're going after any and every company, crypto-related company that they can, because now's the time when there's not a lot of hype, there's not a lot of backing, people aren't really thinking about crypto. Now's the time the SEC can step in and start laying the hammer down with the regulation that they want to pass. And the most recent thing they said, this isn't official, but they said that Binance US is operating unregistered securities exchange, and that is starting to raise a couple questions, because this happened at the hearing for Voyager, actually, and it's the bankruptcy for Voyager to see if Binance could indeed purchase it, and Binance US as the United States arm to Binance. And this is something that happened from the SEC staff, so this wasn't necessarily from the head, Gary Gensler, but you can imagine the staff is just going to be a mouthpiece for what the head of the SEC is saying. So even though it didn't directly come from the top, I imagine something from the top is going to come very soon. So the staff believes that Binance US is operating an unregistered securities exchange in the United States. So that is not very good for Binance US or any crypto exchange in the US to want to hear something like that, because the US editions, whether it's FTX US, Binance US, they do the best they can to kind of cater to the US rules and regulations. That's why they created a US arm to each one of those companies. So the last highlight I have here, the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, who has said in the past that he believes a majority of crypto trading platforms should be registered as national securities exchanges. And this is kind of just reiterating that. So that is the last thing I wanted to leave you with, other than the fact that the crypto market has been up and down. I am taking the time every single day to purchase crypto. So if you are interested in seeing my purchases, hopefully they should be more frequent here coming very soon. Check out the Patreon link in the description below. If not, YouTube channel, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one.